Welcome to Shelor Select. The whole system will be ready in a few minutes. Take your seat and enjoy.
So is that the clap? Essentially, it's kind of like your cut, like when they go to the movies?
Sort of, yeah. And like when I go into the editing stuff, like you can sync it up by the sound waves, and that's how I sync up ours and the camera. So
you can make it any noise you wanted or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, they said some people actually, actually take like a real... if you have one, yeah. But you can clap, or everyone just will say like an actual, like a certain sound or something. But for me, it's the... just clap.
The old clap.
It's just easy, right?
Just like the clapper, clap on, clap off.
Give it a clap.
So
anyway.
If I were, for whatever reason, to start clapping for any reason, it would start cutting out. No,
no, it would. It like syncs up like the first sound wave, I guess, so to speak, and then it would just keep picking it up. But
I mean, not that I was planning on clapping, but shoot, man, if things get wild or something like that,
we can clap. We can clap for episode number 3. Like
everyone would be really concerned. Like, it's just 2 of them guys clapping.
All they do is just clap on their podcast. What kind of podcast is this?
Keeps breaking up, like in the.
But so anyway, this is the 3rd episode, dude. I didn't think there would be 3, but we're recording.
Hey, just keep it going. Keep it going. Right?
So anyway, what'd you bring us to drink?
Well, these are from my friend Pat, and obviously you know Pat.
Oh, shout out Pat Trout.
Nobody helps maybe know him, anyways. But I mean, he works at a brewery, and these are the ones that he brought. That he came to my parents' house for Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
came to down to Thanksgiving because he wasn't going up north, and
Boston.
He since he works at a brewery, we were like, if there are any like really good ones, Sarah like sours. I like the Oktoberfest style or the seasonal.
Yeah.
So if you have anything like that, it'd be cool. My dad really likes Abita.
Abita?
Abita.
Is that a brewery?
Yeah, I believe it's. I've been to the brewery, and I'm pretty sure they're based out of New Orleans or Louisiana. So I think that's where they're based out of, but I can't be totally sure.
That makes sense.
It's kind of like the Sierra Nevada, where Sierra Nevada has a huge location down in North Carolina, but they have one in out west, and I think they have a central one as well.
So they have 3.
I think there's 3, but I mean, the Sierra Nevadas are obviously in out west.
Yeah.
So
I know the one in Asheville, but
that's the only one I've been to.
Yeah. Weren't they trying to take one to Roanoke at one point, but it ended up going to Asheville? Or am I just thinking? Did I just make that up?
Ballast Point was the one.
Yeah, but I thought they were supposed to.
They went out.
Maybe, that's gone. But I thought for some reason.
I really like them too.
Dude, that was the spot around here. I mean, no offense to any others, but anyway.
Well, there's a ton of breweries, and anyway, so yeah, back to this. Vassen. Yeah,
is that German?
Nordic. I don't know. I'm not cultured at all, so I couldn't tell you. But
you're cultured.
They're really good. They just like the Hefeweizen, if that's how you say that, and then they have the sour, and then it was just Sarah's favorite. It's really good. The cherry lime.
Which one's this one? What's that?
That's the Oktoberfest one.
You want this one?
No. I've already had all of them, so I figured I'd give you the ones that I've already had. A couple of them. So
I figured I'll start off with this one then.
Let's say I previewed them before.
Gave a little pre-trial.
When we brought them into Thanksgiving, we definitely had them. So they're really good. Yeah, I would
test
definitely
drive,
like them. Yeah, so I really like them. I thought they're pretty good so far. But
hell yeah.
We had Baker's Mark last time. Maybe we switch it up. 3rd episode. Maybe
man, we just keep the body guessing. Keep the viewers guessing. With the 2 losers drinking this time.
For my Secret Santa gift had I told you had like the a smattering of different types of whiskey and bourbon, and one of them was Crown Royal Vanilla, which I've never had before.
Oh yeah. Because Crown Royal has a bunch of different flavors.
I've
peach, apple. I've only had the original. Well, no, I've had peach.
Hey,
starting up early. I've had the peach because they had it at the ABC store one time and it was a limited edition. One of our members was telling me about it. It was good.
Okay,
that was easy to drink. But anyway, go ahead.
I was thinking you have to do Irish coffee or something like for the next one because I was told that might be a really good one to do. Is put that in the rather than
I'd be
which
down
is
to clown.
the traditional is what Irish cream,
like Bailey's, ain't it?
Bailey's, or
just whiskey and
cream,
coffee.
Whiskey and coffee.
Yeah.
I in my mind, I was thinking like this would be terrible to do. I mean, Irish coffee would be like a nice like not morning, gosh, not starting at like 7 a.m. or anything like that.
Going.
At least wait till like 7:30 or something. 8, but the Irish car bomb, we did so many of those in college.
Oh,
so
man.
I was thinking like, oh yeah, you have 3 ingredients just like the Irish coffee, right?
Yeah.
A little different. Obviously, you have the Guinness, and then the Irish whiskey, and then the cream also. Every time I think of Bailey's, I think of that dark time in my life. I know. I mean, I'm just kidding. No, the Irish car bombs, which you had it before, right?
Oh man, tons. I had a buddy. That's all.
That's
man.
all he got?
Yeah, he was all about those and Jaeger, and like it was like early college, and that's all we were fucking with.
Oh, yeah, the Jaeger you brought, the cold brew wasn't bad. I tried a little bit again. Like I shook it up really well.
Yeah,
I tried a little bit. And I don't know.
There was zero.
Maybe I was just
coffee.
Talking myself into it. Yeah.
It tasted exactly like a.
Well, I thought it was.
Yeah, it's exactly what we thought it would be.
Yeah, we had for top shelf taste and then like bottom shelf budget. Like we ended up doing for like the ultimate guys. We ended up doing. Pat and I would always be like, "We're gonna do car bombs this weekend."
Yeah,
and it would be. We spent like way too much money on the whiskey, the ingredients that I can't remember right now. That I literally just
it's like
said.
Guinness.
Yeah, Guinness, and then
Jameson,
or we use whiskey.
Yeah, I guess you can use
Jameson
anything.
one time,
and then
the cream.
Yeah,
but we were like, we're gonna be
expensive shots.
We're gonna be loyal to the brand, and we only bought like the branded one. We couldn't have just been like, yeah, just give me the house whiskey or anything like that.
Nah, we got.
I want the nice stuff. I am going to enjoy this, and then of course it would transition to be like, well, we don't have any of that left, so. Bush beer. Okay, all right. So we started off really good, and then after that, so we went top shelf to very bottom of the barrel, bottom shelf. But
speaking
Bush
of
doesn't come out of a barrel, so
speaking of nice stuff, like
comes out of the off the curb.
Do you ever get online and like start looking at really expensive cars and like I was looking at the 2020 Vet and I was like, you know what? I don't need white. I want like a red color and like I was trying to figure out a 6-figure car for my taste.
Yeah, that has like that build your own feature and you're like, God, this makes sense. I'm gonna be reasonable. I'm not gonna have the leather. You know what? I'm just not gonna do the convertible because when do I drive?
Yeah, you know, it's wintertime around here. We get all 4 seasons. You know, I'm not gonna take it out in the winter really. I get on those a lot and start going into like boats and stuff.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
You know.
I do that a lot with like the cars, cars, Jeeps, because I used to have one. So every time like they'll advertise one, I'm like, I'll see what it looks like. And I'll go through all the features and then I get to the end and I'm like, oh, okay.
How much is this?
That is a lot.
How many payments?
So maybe if I start playing the lottery again, I can maybe afford a down payment.
Yeah.
So
I can probably get it. Was Jeep your first car?
No. So my first, like, the first car I ever drove, like the car
first one,
on,
like when you got your license, first one.
So the first car,
the first one,
cars that I like learned to drive on. So when I was starting to drive, my dad had a Toyota, 1987 Toyota MR2,
little Spider.
Yeah, well, and it was like it looked like a Back to the Future car. And that's
DeLorean.
It looked like the DeLorean. I'll have to show you a picture real quick what it looks like, but the two-seater.
Yeah.
It was 1987, so it's not like it's nothing new. My dad kept good. He keeps really good shape of everything he owns, so everything lasts.
That's
really long.
Yeah.
And so we also don't throw anything away in that house. So in that household, so we have a lot of stuff that is still kicking. And like he had like a MGB is like an old British sports car. It's like a little like super light, really fast, like really, really, really fast. Or not fast. I would say really quick. It was like stuck to the road. You could whip around corners and stuff like that. It didn't feel like you were, crammed to the side or anything like that. But anyways, so he let me drive that, and wasn't probably maybe first car. It'd be like didn't have probably the greatest safety features for someone who's like starting driving. Not to I wonder how this works in the car. But
they didn't even really have any much safety features back then, did they?
Besides
seatbelts.
I had seatbelts. For sure had seatbelts.
That's all they would do back then.
I didn't have. I can't remember either. Like the airbags were. Either
you probably
didn't have
airbags
or didn't. It was either a defective or anything. I can't remember. So I don't remember exactly. But anyways, The engine was in the back, so there was nothing in the front. There was a trunk in the front, and it had lights.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
It was one of those kinds of cars. So it was really, really cool, really fun to drive. But a couple times when I was starting to drive it around in the summer, because it was an older car, and I had a couple issues every now and then where, like, if you were sitting at the light, like a red light, and then it was just idling all of a sudden for a reason, like it would just drop really low. So I kind of had to like pepper the gas to keep it up. Otherwise, it would just kind of die out. And so it's kind of like trying to manually shift the automatic car. That makes sense. Like,
slam it neutral.
So every once in a while, like, and I lived in Fairfax City at the time, or around Fairfax. So it was like really, it was not in the country. It was like right outside DC kind of area. So it was lots of like lights and things like that. So yeah, it wasn't very easy to drive like that. And then, like, if you come up to a light and I had to keep hitting the gas, and then in 2 more minutes, you're at another light, and then you have like 10 lights between you and home, kind of thing. So anyway, so we didn't end up driving that for very much longer. But I would say that's one of the first cars I learned to drive with my mom's.
That was the MGB.
No.
Or the MR2.
The MR2. My dad would, because he cared about my safety in life. He was like, "You're not going to drive that car." It had a lot of rust in that one because he pretty much like made it. I think it was not one of those kit cars, but have you heard of this? Like,
you can get like it's like I don't know, the body of it, and you just kind of put your own engine in it or something.
Essentially, customize it however you like. And he did that where I think he got majority. He pretty much got like a base, and then changed a couple things here and there, and it essentially lasted a long time. But you could see rust. You could see through the car at one point if you looked at the right angle. It's kind of like when you've seen Indiana Jones where he holds the staff up and like there's a little medallion at the top, and so you can kind of see the car. So he's like, "Yeah, I care about you, so I don't want you to drive that car. At least I drive it. I could ride in it." Anyways, but yes, that was like the first car. I would say the car that I really started driving around in. I think he let me drive it before I technically had my license to get my license, like the learner's permit. Did you have to do that in high school where you would go and
10th grade?
It was like a driver's course.
Yeah, 10th grade we did driver's. Yeah, you take driver's ed and PE. It was like combined. Is that how it was for you? And then, like, after school, depending on when they could get you in or whatever, it was like you and however many they could fit in the car.
It's like 3 or 4 people, right?
Yeah. And then, like, I forgot even because like probably a Ford Taurus or whatever. And like my driver or my teacher, whatever you want to call him, he was pretty chill. He's like, "All right, where y'all want to drive to?" And we're like, "What the? I don't know, dude. Like, we don't know what the hell we're doing." And it's just like, "Oh, let's just start driving." I was like, "Okay." Like one time he was like, "You want to drive yourself home?" I was like, "Okay." Cool. Yeah, I'll just drive himself home.
I want you to know where I live.
But yeah, that was kind of like that.
But
yeah, like he was like that. Then you took like the PEs and went in class, some of the textbook stuff, I guess.
So that was essentially I did the same thing. Yeah, same thing where I think he was just like, "You're gonna get your certificate anyways there, so just drive to get it." We lived like 5 minutes away from where it was. He was like, "I'm not concerned about it." But yeah, that was technically my first car. After that, and like 80 was in 1987, so I mean we had to eventually. I ended up driving a Toyota Corolla for a little while because my aunt was selling it, and my parents are like, "You're not going to drive this like other little sports car for around forever, and you can't do anything with it." And the other one had nice things like airbags and good gas mileage and stuff like. Anyway, so that was like my first real official car. I guess like my aunt was getting rid of hers, and
that's kind of how it was for me.
But so I was super fortunate to get that. But then the Jeep. I eventually got a Jeep a couple years after that, and that's
you slowly just morphed into it.
Like, yeah, and then
get me a Jeep.
God, it was my dream car, and I was like, I love them. They are. They're fun cars. It's not a functional car whatsoever, but man, now they have the pickups and all that stuff. I guess they're a little more functional, but before it was essentially just like a floating brick driving around. But it's fun. It was fun, yeah. Maybe not floating. It didn't really float. I mean, you could say it floats. It's
just a big brick going down the driveway.
Not very nimble. If it's really loud, it's a soft top, but it's like a labor of like you had to drive around and wear hoodies and stuff like that. Well, sometimes it was like really cold because it was like vinyl seating, and man, you could literally not break that car with it. Just kept running. I got stuck a couple times with like the top off, and I'd be driving around, and like since I lived in the city, hit all the lights on the way home. And like when you're driving and if you have the top off and it starts to rain, you're like, okay, it's not a big deal. I'm driving. Like most of the rain will sheet over the car. And then you hit a light and you're sitting there for like 3 minutes while like all the other lights are going. I'm kind of wet. I'm kind of like,
I
hold
know
my
how
head
that
above
is.
water. It felt like I was in a fish tank where like the water's, but it has plugs in the bottom. So you would just pull the plugs.
And it would just drain out?
Yeah. And everything was pretty much plastic or vinyl. So it's not like I could damage anything. I didn't have any suede leather or anything like that. So it wasn't nothing getting ruined in there. So I was just super fun.
I know what you mean by
but
that.
I was like one of those where like as soon as it got sold, I immediately was like, I'm getting another one sometime. I don't know. I was like, anyways.
There goes my life.
But yeah, I guess it would be like my first car was a 1987 Toyota MR2. My dad's.
I mean, it's a sweet little first car.
So yeah, that's the first car I drove around. But
You still got it, or what y'all do with it?
he sold it.
Yeah.
He sold it. Yeah. They when they were getting ready to move, they sold it all. And that like people would just walk up to the house if he had it parked out in the driveway, and ask him to sell it. Be like, hey, can I buy this from you? Like he just had it, like he pulled it out in the driveway and he's like getting stuff out of the garage or whatever, and just have people walk up. I can't. I think like 15 people over the course of a year would just come up and ask him to buy because we live on a busy street where people walk by all the time. But yeah,
well,
so
they're cool
finally
little
sold it,
cars.
so.
I mean, I don't guess they even make them anymore, do they?
Oh well, they make a MR2 now.
Oh, do they?
But or they well, isn't
I know.
No, Supra. They make the Supra now.
The new Supra.
They don't make the MR2 is like they don't make that anymore.
Yeah, but yeah, that. Well, they made them for a while. Was it early 2000s? They may have stopped.
Yeah, but that was kind of like the Spider, wasn't it? Or
Is that because is there an MR2 and an MR2 Spider?
there might be,
Or is it just a Spider? I don't know. I know it's a 2-little-seater car, but
yeah, it was like super fun. It's kind of cool. I used to mess with the people like the other guys if I was going on like cross practice or something like that, and we were driving to one of the areas where we practice when we had we'd access for a little while to where the Redskins practice over in Ashburn.
Oh yeah,
on the turf field over there.
Nice.
And occasionally we'd go over and
like watch them.
We'd use the field because
high
school, like a couple of high schools would get time to use the field when they weren't using it.
Okay.
And they would just use it as because otherwise it would just sit there. So essentially, like the local high schools would kind of pitch in to be.
So you had to
pitching
pay.
is a very general.
You had to pay the
term.
Redskins to use it.
I'm sure. Yeah, you had to. There was probably some deal where they were like, if you're a part of the school, you get like a better. Anyway, so
yeah.
But when it was like
rate.
snowing and like really crappy weather, they would open it up for like some of the local schools. Anyways, and we have like probably 4 or 5 schools that are relatively close to that, so I think a lot of people used it. But we drive along, and if you're like parallel on the highway with somebody, like you pull up and you like everyone normally waves or whatever like that.
Yeah.
The car was really old and they had a lot of like weird things about it. Like the key would just fall out. Like the key was like really worn, so you could just
fall out of the ignition.
Out of the ignition, you could just pull the key out of the ignition. And I'm sure there's a lot of cars, so you could probably there's like weird things like you could do with a lot of old cars like that. But which kind of like use it to like mess with people because I'm a stupid person. Yeah, I'd be like a stupid kid driving around. I'd pull a key out and I'd like shake it at like person next to me driving, and they're like,
"What's this
what the
guy
hell
doing?"
Is this guy doing? He pulls his keys out and hangs them out. And like I thought it'd be like, oh, this is funny. And I'm like,
Dude's got a death wish.
stupid. Anyways, you could just put the key back in and then just like kind of turn the ignition like you normally would, just by dumb stuff like that. But so yeah, what was your first car?
A 1994 Ford Probe GT. Oh yeah.
Oh hell yeah, roll tide.
My uncle and aunt were selling it, and this is a little sports car, first car, a little red sports car, and my license plate said "Fun for 2" on it. Really cool back in high school, y'all. Yeah, I forgot how long I had it, but I ended up wrecking it, so I totaled it.
Oh shit!
Had a bad wreck.
Oh shoot, man.
Yeah, I don't know if I
You walked away from it, obviously. So
yeah, I survived, but
I heard that story.
I forgot. I think it had to been in the fall, but I may have had it for like 6 months to a year. I don't remember how long I had it, but we were at a football game and leaving football game, coming back home to mom's house, and I don't know, but going to my high school, living in Medicine, you had to go down this fucking 20-minute mountain. Now you probably, it's kind of like Floyd Mountain,
yeah.
but I don't know what it has a name, Stewart Mountain. I don't know. Do you know where Lover's Leap is?
I've heard about it on that.
All right, so you go down that way, and that's how you get to Stewart. Instead of going from Floyd, but to my house. So I was coming up the mountain, got into this turn, and they had just repaved it. Guy had his high beams on. I was going the trooper said I was going 45, which I think that's what I was. I wasn't speeding or anything. I was just driving, and he blinded me. I got off on the
side,
the curve,
shoulder
of the road. Yeah, and where it just been paved, it was an extra whatever on top of the pavement.
Oh shit!
So I panicked, of course, and tried to get back on and overcorrected. and just did like a 180 in the road. Started sliding across the road, then hit the ditch on the other side and flipped.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, dude. And like it was kind of weird. It's like almost an out of body experience because like it was like almost slow motion. Like I knew it was like
slow motion.
Yeah, it was like I felt what was going on, and like I just
can't do anything.
Yeah, like you hit brakes,
right?
Pull the E. I don't know, but and it was like almost I was watching myself like on the side of the road as it happened. It was real weird when I say out of body. Yeah, and I was just like, then like once I landed on the top of my car. It was just like, whoa. Then it all came surreal. I was like, oh, fuck, oh, God, what happened? And so, like glass was everywhere. And I had my seatbelt on. Luckily, my brother did too, and he was with me. And so I instantly was just like, oh, God. So I unbuckled myself and started crawling out. And I don't even think I may have had a cell phone then. I don't remember. I was 16. So anyway, I may have did have a cell phone. I don't remember. But anyway, I got out, got myself out. But I remember like blood going down my hand. I guess I cut myself.
Because of glass and shit or something like that.
Yeah, and I didn't know what was going on. My brother said he was fine, but I think he only had like a bloody nose or whatever. He was better than I am. So finally, I don't know if somebody came by and they called the ambulance or whatever, but somebody called and they said when I got there, I was just kind of pacing up and down the road because I was so freaked out.
I'm sure you're a little stressed.
Dude, I was like, oh, like main thing, like, okay, we're okay, but I knew like, oh, my car's done. Right. And, like parents are going to kill me. And then like my dad actually showed up out of nowhere, and that was kind of weird too. And he was in the like car getting stuff out, which I don't know what that was about. But anyway, the ambulance showed up, made me go with them,
right? Because
they said I had glass in my head, which I think it was just little specks in my hair.
Oh, okay, right.
Them luscious locks I had back in the day. Yeah. But I got to the hospital and they cleaned me up, and it was finally just this little scar on my.
Okay.
And they said
So you walked away with just a scar?
Yeah, just a little scar on my thing, and they put I can't remember if they put stitches in this thing or not, okay. But yeah, it was just like when everything settled down, it was kind of like, oh, okay, so you're fine now. You just got to find another car now.
That the first accident I had where maybe not kind of like that, but it was I was driving a Jeep at the time.
Yeah,
and I was going onto the highway where the on ramp started lower than the highway, so you had to kind of like go up to the the road that crossed underneath the highway, you have the ramp that goes up to meet it. Mm-hmm. And it had like this kind of like moon shape, like elliptical shape almost, where you would kind of have this long round turn to get down to the highway because it went up and then down.
Yeah.
Well, when it was snowing right there, I think it was the time I was working at Sports Authority, and it was like right next to the highway. So it's like, I think we closed at like 11 o'clock or something like that at night. And then there's no cars on the road. It's icy and snowy. Shit. And I'm driving a Jeep Wrangler that has bigger tires on it. I know that doesn't mean anything with like respect to like ice and things like that. It doesn't mean shit. But
no, yeah.
If it was like a lot of snow, like in that year, I remember actually utilizing the 4-wheel drive a couple times just because I had to, and I had the ability with that car.
For sure.
But my dad always made me and my brother drive in the snow all the time. Would take us out all the time to like get really comfortable driving different cars. Like if we had he took us out in a minivan. He drove us in like the MR2, which is like Tokyo Drift. God. He was like, okay, we're going to go learn how to drive in the snow, but Dad, this is also kind of for you, right? He goes, oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. We'd go to like our like the high school in the parking lot, and we'd just do donuts and stuff. There's no telephone poles in the middle of the parking lot at our high school. It was just like massive. I mean, there was, but like essentially you would you would have to try to work hard to get close to them. So there's this open spaces where we could just do like donuts and stuff like that. So he'd take us out and just like essentially teach us how to, hey, if you're starting to lose control, you drive like this.
Right.
Anyways, so we did that with a couple different cars. And so I'm relatively not no stunt driver or anything like that, but my dad kind of helped prepare us to get comfortable driving the snow. And
yeah, I know. My parents did the same thing.
So, I wasn't super worried going into it. Like, okay, I know what to do. I'm not driving like an asshole. I typically drove that thing like a Fabergé egg anyways. So it wasn't like going super fast, and because it couldn't. It's a Jeep. And somebody actually, and I didn't even like I would say didn't occur to me. There's a car coming up behind me, and I'm going slow. I don't really care. I'm just closed, worked all day. I'm just going, whatever.
Fuck.
This guy goes around me. I think he was driving a Mustang or something like that, and then went around me. So I just touched the wheel to move, because all of a sudden I have this guy passing me. This is on an on-ramp. This guy's passing me on an on-ramp in the snow. It's like, this guy's a death wish.
What the hell?
Well, this guy had a death wish. Anyways, or he had to poop really bad or something like that. But he's like, I get home. So I just touched the wheel just a little bit, and that was just enough. The road was like slight angle, just on an angle, because it was on going uphill and it had like a little, just barely a little small grade, just a little bit. And it happened in slow motion, like you were saying. I was like, well, I can't do anything because I tried to like correct and turn the wheel, and then the car was just still slowly going off. So it was like the slowest, saddest accident ever. Where I'm just like sliding off to the side. The wheels can't do anything. I don't have 4-wheel drive engaged because it's ice. It doesn't do anything. So the way that the median worked is that the highway was here, the on ramp was on the outside, obviously, and then in the middle I had like this ditch, like that would go down in between, essentially your median, or just went down to a ditch. So there's already snow down on the ground because it had been snowing before. So I'm just slowly sliding down, kind of like, if you've been on a roller coaster and they have that chain that drags the cars up to the top of the drop,
right?
And how like really slow and it's like really controlled, and you're just kind of like, all right,
you're just waiting for it.
So essentially, it was like that speed. I'm just going down to the hill here. Anyway, so the car rested perfectly at the bottom of the hill, and it was steep enough that the front of the car rested against the hill of the other one. So I couldn't like reverse or back up because I couldn't engage 4-wheel drive because you have to be rolling to actually do that.
Yeah.
So it was like the saddest accident, and people were driving by and like all these big trucks and Jeeps and stuff like that, and they see this guy in a Jeep that did have bigger tires, and it had like insane bigger tires, but like truck tires compared to like a regular car, and everyone's going like, "You get stuck?" Yeah, no, I'm just hanging out at the bottom. I figured I would just, try to change my oil while I was down here. So
this is what I do, yo.
Yeah, you want to come down and, hang and like, oh, okay, all right. Haha, yeah, it's probably funny you got stuck in that car. I'm like, yep.
Yeah, fuck me,
I appreciate
right?
it, man. If you don't mind just throwing rocks at me while I'm down here, make my life better here. So my dad ended up coming by and like pulling me out just so I could get 4-wheel drive. Like he was able to like pull me out enough that I could get out after that. But it was like, his car was stuck against the hill, so I couldn't reverse because it's super muddy and like snowy and stuff.
Fuck, dude.
It's funny it's funny now to think about it. Like at the time you're saying like it's in slow motion, you're like, I can't do anything.
You know what's going on, but
I was like, I'm on this roller coaster and I'm just rolling down to the bottom of the hill, thinking, oh crap, well here we go, it's first accident, and I was,
yeah.
I think I don't think I had the Jeep that long. I think I like bought it that year over the summer, and then it was like the first winter. So I was like, oh, I just got this a couple months ago. Hell yeah, all right.
Did it do a lot of damage? Or?
No, I didn't do any damage. So
that's good.
I had a bumper that, like, since it was like a 1994 Jeep Wrangler, and it was no frills or anything like that, but the bumper went out really far. So it was like just like regular straight bar bumper, but it like went out. So like you could almost, it's probably like a foot or so away from the actual grill, kind of stuck out in front. So the bumper actually went out in front. So the bumper was just resting against the hill. There's no damage.
Oh, that's not
like
bad.
It was really muddy because I was trying to spin my wheels and stuff and get out. But other than that, it was no big deal. So it was like, on the grand scheme of things, it was a happy accident.
One of them types.
So not too bad, yeah. But I haven't been in anything like what you've had. So I've been in a car where someone put it on 2 wheels, and I was in the car and I had a hell of a pucker.
They put it on 2 wheels, like
we're going in a clover leaf.
Potentially trying.
I don't know. I don't know what was going on. I was in the passenger seat, and I wish there was more seatbelts that you could use at the time. I was trying to reach in the back and give me a rope or something.
Yeah, or some race car seatbelts.
The guy that was driving us, I was one of those. I didn't have a car for a while, like pretty late into. I got like obviously towards senior year, I started driving, but I would just bum rides off everybody if we're going somewhere, and which is par for the course. A lot of high school kids would be like, hey, someone's got a car.
How that goes. Yeah,
that guy's now driving everyone else around.
Yeah.
We're all piling, and so is Mike's car or whatever. Anyways, so the guy that was driving was going around this turn, and it was one of those clover leaves where it's like really kind of aggressive turn to get back onto another highway.
Yeah,
and he was going through that shit fast, and all of a sudden I had this weird feeling like you're on like a roller coaster again, and I was like, your stomach drops. I'm like, oh, we're on 2 wheels. And he put it back down, and we still going on. There was kind of like that wiggle in the car, like he was like straighten it out and all that. After that, I was like, hey, please don't ever do that again. Like, I'm gonna. They didn't have Uber or anything like that. I was like, I'm just gonna call a taxi or something.
They used to
like
do that shit all the time. Like he was just
a
like, skilled driver.
It's just like a lead foot, and it was one of those. I know he's still alive, so he's still doing it, but it was one of those. We're in high school too, so it's like, you don't know any better. I think you're invincible and stuff. And that's like, you wasn't purposely trying to do it, but yeah, that was the closest I've been to having anything like that. So
I don't know if he's got a hold of yours. I think he put his ball in it, so you might want to.
Yeah, it's just Zeke will get into it later.
Oh, okay.
Well,
I didn't want him chewing it up or anything, but no, he usually just hides his balls or something.
Yeah, man, that's good.
Just, I don't know.
No,
it makes
he's okay.
Okay. But
they have like 100 hoodies at home that like 3 of them,
three of them
are all like gross from CrossFit and stuff and being all sweaty, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, it's all good.
So your friend lives his life a quarter mile at the time. Dom Toretto. I live my life a quarter mile.
Yeah, I had really good pucker on a lot of drives like that. So maybe that's why roller coasters aren't so bad.
No, I had a good friend in early college. Same guy who would make me and my buddies drink Jaeger and Irish car bombs all night and get ruthlessly sick. But he had a Subaru WRX. He was sick and modded the shit out of it. Like I'd be in my truck going down the road and I could hear it behind me, like But anyway, one time we were in it and we were back in my hometown. I don't know if it's just a good story to tell or whatever. Nobody's around. But anyway,
you don't say his name.
Yeah, like he came and picked me and my buddy Matt up, and we sit at we were one of each other's houses drinking or something. I forgot anyway how it went. But anyway, we were going down like our main drag, 58, and this was probably like at midnight or something. We got good and liquored up. And he had that thing, his WRX is going. He's like, y'all watch this. And we're like, we was kind of looking around. And I don't know if you ever seen my elementary school, but like it's right there on the main highway. And it's got the biggest, like, it's not really a U-shaped driveway or parking lot or whatever, but it's just like you could easily just pull in like this.
Okay, right.
But anyway, he started to pull in, pulled his E, and we were going through the parking lot in the school, like doing donuts, and like I'm sitting there, like just grabbing on anything I got, and he's just sitting there, like loving it. And all of a sudden, he just like skilled, like I would have thought he was Dom Toretto, stopped it and just kept going, pulled back into the highway, and I was like, "What the fuck, dude?"
Good thing you had your brown pants on, right?
Yeah, good thing I had my brown pants. But I was like, "What the fuck, Jordan?" And he was like, "Is that fun, right?" And I was like, "It is now," but
I wish you would have let me know.
Yeah, I was like, "What the hell?" Well, anyway, that was a sick car, dude. That was a good time, man.
My dad got a I guess his retirement gift.
Little retirement gift to himself.
Well, my mom, him and my mom were like, they've been talking about getting. Yeah, he's always wanted. He had a Toyota MR2, he had an MGB, so he likes like those little sport cars. They're really fun to drive, and so he ended up getting a Mazda. And the old convertible, must be Miata, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Miata.
So
Mazda.
He got that. It's sick. It's like metallic silver. It's got like a hard top convertible that like you hit the button and like goes out behind you and stuff like that.
Nice.
And I remember him taking we had this road in Northern Virginia that's kind of like the one you were saying earlier about your story, where it's like trees on either side, 2-lane highway, curvy as hell. It's like no one good long straightaway. It's also most notoriously known for having the highest rate of accidents anywhere else in the county. And like in that
this area. Is in Fairfax?
Yeah, it's in Fairfax. And a lot of drunks would get killed because they would be driving down this road and be like just barreling around corners and stuff like that. So a lot of folks that were driving either too fast or were like drunk or something like that.
Yeah, of course.
So it was really, really, really like maybe a higher risk road kind of deal. But if you have a car and you're not, trying to set any land speed records or anything like that, it's a really fun car, really fun road to drive on if you have a car like that.
Yeah.
That car was glued. The first time he took me out of that thing, it was also a little cold out there. So, of course, we had the top down. Nice. So my face probably was like frozen. Like Dumb and Dumber, like when they're driving the bike or whatever. Like that,
just
that was probably one of the most fun roads I've been on. I drove it all the time, but I drove it in either like a Toyota Corolla or a Jeep Wrangler. So it's just a road.
Just chill.
And then my dad
Sunday
takes
drive.
me out in this Mazda, and he was whipping that. My dad normally drives really like conservatively, doesn't smash the gas or anything. He drives really smooth. But in this car, he let it rip. And like we were going around curves and like he's in control the entire time, but you felt like you were glued to the ground. It was like really low, super fun. And then while we're moving, when a couple years later they officially retired, and they moved down to Burlington, North Carolina. And I remember they re-retired and moved again in Burlington. So they moved from one house to the other. So they live out
Mom.
they're farther out in the sticks now. they kind of live out on the reservoir out there, so they have this.
I don't know.
They live in the water, so like they're out in the woods.
Okay.
So they used to live like just inside the city, so now they live just outside.
Yeah.
Well,
outside of Greensboro, is that what you're, or outside of Burlington?
Outside of Burlington, yeah. So it's like right in the middle between. It's almost right in the middle between the actual Burlington and Greensboro.
Is it like Winston, then Greensboro, then?
Oh yeah, if you're going across the state, yeah, like Charlotte,
then you go
Winston, Greensboro, Burlington, Elon.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
Elon
and
University.
then you're going down to Raleigh and all that. Anyways, I got to drive that car to transfer from one house to the other. Like he's driving the moving truck, and he's like, "James, do you mind driving this?" I'm like, "I do not mind whatsoever." Hand me the keys. And then there was like roads like that down there too, so I got to drive. Probably a little faster than I should. Nothing bad happened or anything like. But that is such a fun car to drive. Like,
I guarantee it.
Oh my gosh! Like I could definitely see for the people that do that as a living. Like that's got to be just so fun to wake up and be able to spin cars around and do all that kind of stuff. But,
well, like Tom Segura has his. This would be something badass if anyone's listening to get me into. That they'll send him
stocking stuffer.
Yeah. They'll send him like I guess any company will just send him I don't know, not any company, but they send like McLarens or
like to just test drive and stuff.
Yeah, like he just test drives, and he's got a little YouTube channel that he does. Besides his like comedy, and he's talking about just stories like we are, and he's just driving like the other day I watched. He had like one of those Dodge Hellcats or whatever, and like dude, I don't even remember what color it was. Maybe like a dark green or something, black wheels. But anyway, watch him. He might chew that thing out. But he gets on there and. Just lay it on top here. He gets on there and just hammers it like on the on-ramp, getting on to, what is the major thing in LA, like the 401? Or,
I don't know.
I don't even know.
Sorry. Oh, no.
No, go ahead. But no, that's all it is. But it's just like, man, that'd be badass. Just like, even for like, send me the car for a week and just drive it around. And I'd record myself on the phone and talk about stuff. Just, all right, I'm done with this one. Send me the next one.
Yeah. I really consider myself like a car guy that I really like driving. Mm-hmm. I think it's like, me relaxing, if on a road trip, I would volunteer to drive because for a reason, like even though it's like nothing, like I always felt I was like relaxing, but if I felt like I was in the car, I'd be like, "Oh man, let's just fucking get there."
Exactly.
But so I've always loved driving, and I wouldn't say I'm like a car guy. I know how to like change my oil and do all that stuff, but like I don't. I'm not modding my car or anything like that.
No, I mean like changing the oil, rotating tires. That's about as good as I can do, and. Yeah, like, I don't know. I mean, I like cars and looking at them, but, as far as, like, anything else, I mean, I couldn't get – I'm not, like, a car enthusiast. Like, right. So some of my uncles are. Like, he has really like a 60s – yeah, he has, like, a 67 Vet collector's item. And
you can definitely appreciate it. I definitely
I appreciate it, but it's just like –
if someone was like, yeah, I got so-and-so, I'm driving in, I got this motor in, and I'm like, cool, man.
But, like one of the things –
looks cool.
things is, like, in our day, like – cars back then were relatively cheap. I always hear like my uncles or family members, I paid like $2,000 for my first car, or like, or $250. Well, not $250 but like cheap for like an old like a '69 Camaro, right. And like now they're like worth like
now you sell your firstborn and then you're like,
I got a car,
this down payment, right?
But anyway, it's just like I think that's kind of why it's just like I've kind of more like I appreciate them, but
it's not. But like we were talking about, like it's nice to look at and be like, hey,
that's a cool car, but.
Like
I don't have $50,000
when you're looking to buy when you were doing that build your own or looking on the website and trying to figure out it's nice to dream.
No, like there's people who like I appreciate it, like they buy cars and they can go out back and just like they find like a barn find, like an old whatever, and then they can and they can do all the work by themselves or most of the work, and it's like, man, that'd be kind of badass to know that type of stuff or know how to do that.
At least learn how to do that. Like
at least some of it.
I've always wanted to keep learning and want to like learn a new skill, or my dad is like really handy, so I've always been interested in being like, man, I'd like to be able to know how to do that because like he did it. It's cool. I like to learn how to fix it.
It's good skills to have.
And instead of having to call somebody or instead of having to
yeah, that's my one thing. Like, I don't want to depend on anyone else.
Yeah,
to come fix something.
You also get like something out of it, like
a little self-satisfaction.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, or badass.
You don't. Maybe not building a car, but like if you know how to do the maintenance on it, it's even something as menial as like changing your oil or fixing XYZ. Take it in to
Yeah, if you can do that yourself, I mean, just oil changes and stuff. I mean, that saves you, what, $50-$60? I mean, just depending on what type of car you have or whatever. Like, didn't you get yours done the other day?
Yeah, because I didn't have. I didn't think I was gonna have the time with even before Christmas and all that. And
see, that's my thing too.
But I had to get the tires rotated at the same time, so I didn't have I don't have the equipment. I don't have like jacks and things like that to get up. I mean, I know how to do it. I mean, I changed my brakes and do all that stuff. I know how to take a tire off and change a flat tire, but like, I have like a 4 set of really good jacks to put all the car, put it up and all that. So I ended up doing that. I might as well, I'll just do it this time,
Right.
I did Sarah's recently, but that car is nice. And that's the one thing I miss about doing the Jeep Wrangler. I literally could just throw that damn oil pan under there. You just kind of like casually lay underneath it, take out the oil filter and like just drain it. Like my car's so low to the ground now that you have to jack everything up.
Yeah, of course. You can't crawl under there.
Yeah, so like that's the worst part. And then like the get at the filters, like it like contort your hand a certain way. Like the Jeep Wrangler was like, oh, it's right there, and they take it out. But Sarah's wasn't that bad because all I had to do was essentially just drive it, toss the thing underneath it, unscrew it, and all that. Super easy, but yeah. And then of course I had to buy a new battery at the same time because, of course,
just giving you the business.
Yeah, I got the business for sure on that. But then I was kind of like, oh, this is kind of bullshit. Or they just giving me the one over, and then I actually put the new battery in there and started right up immediately before I had to crank a little bit. I'm like, oh, so it was a little old. All right.
Well, aren't I don't know if that's a word. Younger generations not getting their licenses much anymore. Like they're just relying on Uber and Lyft just because they're like, why do I need my license when I can just do this?
Yeah, I mean, if you live in the city, like New York,
like around here,
that makes sense. But yeah,
it's kind of like a taxi. I'll just pay a couple bucks just to go uptown or whatever.
I think I had like a countdown, man. I couldn't wait to get.
Oh, it's the same way. It's like, give me my fucking license.
Yeah, I was like, I'd do whatever.
Even my learners. I was anxious to get that.
I think I was the day that I turned. Like I was the second person in the DMV, so I only waited 4 hours. No.
Yeah, it's just kind of weird that people are just like, nah, I don't really want to care about my license. But still, kind of like what you're saying, like it makes me feel more independent.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Like even if you don't have it, like, well, I just gotta call this stupid Lyft, just waiting to get me here.
Yeah. I don't know. This is something like what you said earlier.
It's like almost they're kind of scared.
I don't know. Yeah, I've heard of a lot of people just not having it who are of age and just
they're like,
I've never got around to it. Like. I guess it's not big on the radar. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just
different strokes, different folks.
Wild. Yeah, true. It's just wild to me.
But and that's why people are different, I guess. So I guess that's fine if you're into that kind of thing. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Yeah.
I guess it all depends. Like, you ever think you ever grown up in the wrong generation or anything, or the wrong era?
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, like you're an old soul. Or you ever think about
sometimes,
that?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, sometimes I'm like, I probably grew up right. I'm in the right era. Like. I don't really feel like I like new stuff and new technology, and I don't know. Just so I've heard some people ask if there's people that made me think like, I don't guess I did. So unless I was like a fucking gladiator out there, like maybe that's why I like to work out so much.
It's just
I love it.
It's in the DNA.
I just got to get in there and do something.
I was only born 2,000 years too late.
I love to throw something around, but I don't know. Kind of made me wonder that. But I guess I was born in the right era.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
so
think
far
about
it's worked out for me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think about it a lot. It's just like, oh man, maybe I was born in the wrong era. But like, I knew a guy back in my hometown. He did a lot of the Civil War reenactments and stuff. Like one of the, like an actor.
Yeah, reenactor.
Reenactor. I don't know, but like, a lot of my family and friends, and he was a pretty good friend. He used to kind of say that too. Like he felt like he was born in the Civil, or should have been born in that era. He was actually in like Gettysburg. That wasn't that a movie?
Oh yeah. Well, there's a couple on there.
I forgot. But I think he actually played like
like an extra or something.
No, yeah, like an extra in it, just because he did all these reenactments so much.
I feel like that would be I know shifting gears, but like I've never having getting into a movie or something like that and having being like an extra. And like, how long do you think those folks are like? I've been an extra for 10 years, and then I finally got
your break or something.
It's like Bert Kreischer talks about how being like lucky. It's like everyone says about the hard work, and we talked a little bit about that. It's better to be lucky than be like hard work.
Better be lucky than good.
Yeah, or
hard work beats talent,
or like some of the best people have had things like fall into their lap or been at the right place at the right time, and that's where they got.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think I know what you're talking about. Like Jerry Seinfeld, like he'll say like, "Oh, it was all hard work and blah blah blah."
Right. Well, I'm sure
to get to where he was, which it
hard,
did, but he did finally catch a break somewhere along the road, and where it's kind of like others who work hard their whole lives. like say a college prospect for football and just never maybe gets one chance.
Yeah.
You're done.
And then, it didn't go your way or something like that.
Got an injury. Like, nope. Well, I guess you're going to go in the real world and work now. But yeah, I mean, I think there is like stuff like that. You finally catch a break. And like, I think hard work does.
It's kind of like you had to have hard work, but like you make your own luck, if that makes sense, right? Too. But I feel like, the just being I don't know, for whatever reason, I thought that was, if you're a movie extra, like, do you get, I don't know how any of that works, but
I'd say you
get like $100 for the day, or
you probably something like that.
If you're trying to be an actor, do you just like try to like hang out in the scene a little longer than you're supposed to be in there, and be like,
there's something like,
looks like that guy in the background. He's looking at the camera a little bit more.
Take a chance when on speaking. Get
that blue steel like Derek Zoolander, just looking at the camera.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a second, Tom Cruise, can you scoot over a little bit and get this guy in the back more in frame?
Did you hear or watch that thing on Instagram like Tom Cruise going off on his mind, which I guess somebody really was not wearing their face mask, or I don't know what happened, but he went, shut up. He went crazy on like his.
That guy's already crazy shit already.
Yeah.
So. Tom, if you're listening, I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, I like all his movies, so I do like him as an actor, but him and that Scientology stuff, I don't really know how that works.
Yeah, it's
well, like some guy who invented Scientology, I don't know if you.
L. Ron Hubbard.
L. Ron Hubbard, but like apparently he was a terrible sci-fi writer, like, or was it sci-fi or nonfiction or fiction?
Created. I watched like the Going Clear and a couple.
Going Clear, that was what it was based off of.
I'll listen to what was that Leah Remini, like from the Joe Rogan podcast.
Yeah, that's where I get a lot of it
crazy shit like that goes on, all of that stuff.
But like he
not
invented
disparaging any of that stuff, but like some of that stuff kind of seems like.
Well, it's like, was it a way just to make money? That's what like a lot of like cultures like,
because they got the if you're a church or a religion, you got like tax exempt status and stuff like that.
There's a lot of weird stuff goes on.
But yeah, apparently like they have a lot of weirdness and activities and
like stuff they have to do.
Yeah, I don't know. The only thing I know is from those things like Going Clear or like the Joe Rogan podcast where like he'll have somebody on like the guy, like they had David Miscavige's dad on there or something like that, and how his dad escaped, like his own dad escaped. Escaped out of Scientology? Essentially, yeah. Pretty much like figured out like a time. It was almost like you're watching a movie. It sounded like, The Great Escape or something like that, where he had to like pay somebody or like figure out a way at the time to sneak out in a truck and then steal a car and then drive away. Like this guy's dad, essentially, like he's the head of the church, religion, cult, whatever it is. But I don't know, like his own dad is like had to essentially sneak out to be free of being like pretty much like a slave or something like that. Like they pretty much didn't let him do anything, leave, and he was like, I think he was a musician or something like that, and he playing the like events and stuff like that. But then essentially they would just kind of like put him back in the closet. Like he just didn't have a life. Him and his like wife and all that stuff. Like they essentially had to break all contact with any of their family because they all got like disowned from leaving the church or.
Like you had to actually stay at that church or whatever?
I mean, like I'd like to say I don't know anything about it, but other than like the documentaries and stuff that I've seen that have like a weirdly like a not so I want to say rosy picture, I guess what it's like, but
yeah,
Tom Cruise is about crazy shit too. So, anyways, I did see. I did back to.
He's probably a little out there,
but I did see the tape or whatever. I guess of someone.
Yeah, he was like
it's kind of like the Christian Bale thing. Right when he was on the
when he went off on yelling at people or whatever, he kind of
maybe because like he was in the zone acting or something like that.
Well, that's what somebody was talking about, like saying
through eating a sandwich or something like that.
Like this was real logical on what Tom was saying while he was yelling. Like everything he was saying, this is for people who are not working right now, so they can actually have a job or whatever, and be able to pay for their college or their kids' college education. But it was like. Was this scripted? Like, why was he able to say so much and like yelling? Because like like it's rare when I get mad or, but like when times I have and I start yelling or, I mean, if I do, like I'm just blurting out fucking words. Like, like I'm not really logically thinking.
Like sound like it was prepared.
Yeah, it sounds like he'd had it rehearsed in his head. I'm gonna get mad and just yell out this. Like for me, it's just like. So stupid. Why'd I say
just
that?
Just explode like firecracker, essentially. That's it.
One time, one of my old jobs, these two students were getting in a fight, and I forgot what he was saying. And like he was like, "Oh, well, you're just acting like an idiot." And like the whole time, like the other guy, like that just said that too. He's like, "Oh, I'm acting like an idiot." Oh, and he just kept like, "I'm acting like an idiot," and like doing like that. And I was just like, it's not really intimidating. But then like after he came to my office and he was just like, hey man, I apologize for all that. And he's like, I don't really know why I was saying some of the stuff I was doing. And well, that was kind of weird. And I was like, well, I mean, you know, you get amped up in the moment and, you know, some people just don't know why they do anything, but yeah,
lose control kind of
deal. You just like something else takes over. And you just kind of like, it's kind of like this, like, you know, we're doing a little dance back and forth here, and like I don't really know what I'm going to say next. Right. It's kind of like it's like thinking out loud almost, and
especially if it's not obviously prepared. But like, so if you're not, I mean, I guess if you're an actor, I guess you can kind of draw on like, oh, I've had all these scripts and stuff like this, and then I'm really angry directed at you, like for 2 minutes on a video or whatever it was. Anyways,
I like a lot of his old movies. So, what would you think your most underrated movie is?
Well, that I think is good that probably no one else would really like is that's a tough question. I think one of the it's a really dumb movie, but I think I can sit down and enjoy it every single time, and it's like one of the SNL movies is MacGruber, yes. So dumb. It is so dumb. But I literally can watch that movie and pick it up at any time and I just every single time it brings me the same kind of joy that the first time I watched it. I can still get the same.
I haven't watched that in a long time.
And it's one of those SNL movies where it's like I think some of my favorite movies actually have been like comedies.
I love some of those like movies that don't get a lot of credit.
Black Sheep and movies like that where they've came out of like SNL studios or whatever. I don't know.
I don't know. But yeah, it's like all SNL actors who made them.
Right. And so that, I don't know, that's recently probably one of the most, if you're thinking like comedy or something like that, because, I mean, there's so many different.
Yeah, dude.
I know one of the ones that I get shit on because it's like a stupid movie.
It's like every day's a workout with a 10-pound python in your pants or something.
It's so bad. It's just so dumb. It's like like they have like all the stereotypes of all the action movies and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Like they'll have like this. This scene where they're getting all the guys together and then like they have like this old 80s song come on when he's driving his Mazda Miata around and he's like they have this like these big they're assembling the team and they're bringing all these dudes in, they're all like wrestlers and then like they're all got like tats up and their arms are like massive and stuff like that, bigger than your head. And then he's like there's a song where like Rosanna or something like that plays, like this like 80s song. Anyways,
Rosanna,
yeah.
Rosanna.
And he's just like jumping out of his like Mazda Miata after that. Anyways, it's a dumb movie, but it's really fun. It's really funny to me. It's got Val Kilmer in it. He's a bad guy.
I forgot he was in it. I think I wouldn't watch it in theaters maybe.
So underrated. I think it's worth a view.
It's definitely.
But everyone's different. So I guess
different strokes for different folks, like you said earlier.
For a comedy, right? So what do you think if you had for the comedy then?
All-time underrated comedy?
Well, maybe an all-time or one of the ones you think of that's probably underrated.
That's tough for me, man. Like I always talks about Tom Cruise when we're talking about them, like Days of Thunder, like those type of movies he did. I like those. Remember Pain and Gain with The Rock and Marky Mark? Yeah. I don't know how big it got. I really like that movie. Night at the Roxbury.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one. It's an SNL movie. There
you go, right?
Like
those. Yeah. Every time I see it, I gotta watch it when it comes on. Those are tough. I liked all the Fast and Furious movies. Right. Like I thought some of them got kind of clown in the beginning, but I like most of them. Maybe I was just kind of like
it's kind of like one of those guilty pleasures, right?
Yeah,
it's one of those movies that it's not going to win an Oscar, but definitely gonna like and enjoy it and watch it.
Guilty pleasure. That Thing You Do with Tom Hanks. Like every time I see it, I gotta watch it too. I don't know. There's something I don't know why, but something about it.
It's one of those. They used to have it on like TBS or like TNT or something like that, and it would also be like during the summer, and it'd be like summer reruns or something like that. Like on cable, would be like probably like the same 5 movies that just like rotate through. It's kind of like the radio now, where you hear like the same 5 songs over and over again. And you're like, oh look, Gladiator's on again over the summer. I know almost every single word of this movie. But
exactly.
I mean, but
this has hit me. You ever seen Unnecessary Roughness?
Yeah.
Had Kathy Ireland, I think, in it. Dude, I used to watch that movie growing up when I was like, it used to come on
shit. Your camera fell over.
Oh shit.
Oh no.
Okay, well, the GoPro's still going.
Okay, all right.
So we might be okay here.
Outside of the corner of my eye, I just flashed. I thought it all fell over.
So anyway,
it's like your dog's about to get smushed, but it's still low. Do you want to adjust it real quick?
Yeah, go ahead. So anyway, folks,
technical difficulties.
technical difficulties. I think I had that other box right in front of it. Maybe one day, I think you might be in a chair. It was like the GoPro box. Like I had it on the other side. It may have fell in the chair.
Oh, I see it. You have it on the back?
Yeah, I had like that stuff. Yeah, that's what it was doing to me. Just do whatever best you can.
You can edit this in.
Yeah.
This in and out. This in and out.
You might.
Yeah, that's it.
You might want to maybe flip the GoPro, like kind of point it down the center again. Yeah.
Better.
Yeah, sure. I don't know. I haven't. It's still going, and this is longer than it did last time. So.
Peek behind the curtain. It's an auto movie magic.
But
they can CG that.
yeah,
CGI
yeah. Well,
that
I got some good CGI editing skills now. But
So what was it? The necessary
unnecessary roughness, and there's a Wildcats was one. You remember that? I forgot the girl, but she was like she becomes like a high school football coach, and she's a clown because she's a girl or whatever. But they used to come on like TBS or TNT, and like every time I'd see unnecessary roughness on, I had to watch it. Especially with Kathy Ireland, I had a little small crush on her.
Oh, okay, word.
Yeah, because back then she was like a supermodel, I guess. She was like the Cindy Crawford status.
Okay,
Remember all that? And then I love Major League.
Oh, dude, it's such a good one. It's such a good one.
And like I don't know, like I've always loved it, and I've heard other people like quote it and say they loved it, but I fucking love that movie, man. I like quoting from it and stuff. It's got a bunch of good one-liners in it.
Rick Vaughn.
Forget about the curveball, Ricky. Yeah, give him the heater. But oh,
yeah, the sports movies like that, like the Major League and like the other one they made. Did you see any of the new ones that they made? Newer ones, as in like the second or third one.
I saw Major League 2. Didn't they have like one called like Back to the Minors?
Yeah, wasn't that great?
Yeah, I don't think.
But you're like, I love the first one. I'm gonna watch the second one for sure.
Yeah.
Third one, okay, I saw it on TV.
Wait, what was that? The guy that the catcher he couldn't throw it back to the pitcher?
Tom Berger, yeah. Oh yeah, no. Yeah, the second.
Or was that one of the second or third ones?
I think it was the second.
Maybe it was the second one.
The second one, yeah.
Okay, I saw
Tom
that
Berger was
one.
like the coach now or the manager.
Okay,
he got hurt.
Was Back to the Minors like were there the bees?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Okay, so I saw that one. But yeah, I don't remember a lot. Oh yeah, and like the second one, he had to read like porn articles or Playboy articles
to get his mind off of to throw it back to it. Yeah. Or he's like read like rehearse or something like that. Yeah, like the articles on the side, like in the magazine, and then like the batters are like, "What the fuck are you doing, man?"
Oh, and Jake Taylor, the catcher.
Yeah,
he had him reading the.
Jake Taylor, good.
Yeah, I was like, when you said like he was a manager, he had him reading those articles or whatever to help him out. Okay.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, and Roger Dorn, he was the third. Is he in the second one?
Yeah. He's like the owner or something.
That's what happens. He turns into the owner.
Because like the evil woman or evil like
the girl from the first one.
She tries to move the team to Miami. So the evil owner is like, I hope they all lose. Pretty much what the Jets are doing right now.
You think that's what the Jets want to do?
No, I don't know if they're moving to Miami, but
a lot of people.
There's all team in there in Miami, I think, right? Oh yeah, it's the Dolphins. Sorry,
they still play football down there.
Yeah.
Well, you think the Jets are trying to get out of New York?
Well, like, I mean, I know they're trying to get Trevor Lawrence as that first number one pick because they're trying. I mean, there's 0-16, right?
Or sure, I don't know. I don't think I've watched an NFL game all year.
Of the,
hey, can somebody fact check that for us, please?
just
Rocky Duke fact check.
If you go on your instant messenger and just update your away status and just let us know that. Anyways, yeah, it's like they haven't won any, so I think they've been trying to tank. That's what the whole controversy was a couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, where was it the Texans? I can't remember. So this is definitely wrong, but how did you like that, by the way? Did you like that?
That was smooth.
Yeah,
it was real.
You had both of them. Like you had the Oktoberfest and the Hefeweizen. What do you think? Hefeweizen?
That was more. I guess more smoother. That was smoother to me.
It's like Pat was saying it was more of like a different type of like Oktoberfest than like you're saying.
Yeah, it was easy to drink.
Really
like
good,
I was like, just give me another one. Keep bringing them, bro.
Yeah, you gotta try this one next if you're. Oh shit, I left the flame. Should we put it in the fridge?
I'll enjoy it tonight while I watch a Saturday night movie.
Major League 2. Anyways, but yeah, I feel like the Jets were trying to like purposely lose. That's what they looks like because they haven't won any games. And then
didn't they trade somebody earlier in the year too?
I can't remember.
A big guy.
I don't know, but I remember watching the replay was. They had this massive Hail Mary pass and it just looked like the guy gave up and just let the guy score. It's like they were not. I don't think they were going to win, but it's like okay. At some point, it looks like they're just hey man, we're shooting for this number one pick, so there's no one else going to be. So I think like the Jaguars have 1 win, so like the best bet for them now is to just get the number one pick of the draft. Just throw the season pretty much, right?
I guess so far you go so far in the season, you're kind of like, all right.
Well, yeah, I mean,
this is what we're going to do.
There's nowhere near making the playoffs, so
yeah, like why are we going to try to win one game? I think part of you, if you're an athlete in the pros, like part of you's like, yeah, but I want to fucking win.
Yeah, especially I don't want to get blanked. I don't want to get
exactly. I don't want a fucking goose egg on my record, but still, I mean, and I'm sure the upper management's like, no, we gotta get that number one.
Yeah, they're thinking about like the next couple of years. Like, we're obviously not gonna win this year. So what's the point of like destroying? Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm like super pessimistic with how it always goes. Like with sports. Like maybe it's my conspiracy theory side. Like if we want to talk into that shit, yeah, I think some of it's fixed.
I do too.
How does it always go to a game 7? How does it always go to a game 7 or
money
something
TV?
Like that? Yeah, because
I mean, especially when the NBA, a couple of years ago, that NBA ref was actually got caught.
Dungy? No, that's
I don't remember
that's
his
NFL
name.
Donahue.
Donahue?
Yeah, something like that.
I don't know, but yeah, he was actually fixing games, and they got proven. So like, all right, so how many games was that dude fixing, and how many ways it could have gone completely different?
Yeah,
and plus, he could. There's no way he could be the only guy doing it. Because like, if say me, you, and Chad and Trevor are on a referee team, and,
right?
Hey guys, I can make us an extra couple $100,000.
And you're like, if you see it on the internet, it's got to be true for one thing to start out. I think that's a rule. I think that's the first rule.
That's what I live my life by.
But I trust the internet with everything. That's why anything on WebMD is terrible. Like
exactly,
you have like 10 types of cancer all at once. They hit you. Anyways, it's just kind of strange how in some of the video, like if you look at a game, like there's people that would break down, like if you look at how in the grand scheme of things, it maybe looks like, hey, this guy made him foul out, or let's say he called penalties on this one guy. So in a basketball game, so they foul out. So now one of their biggest impact players, or let's say he's given like LeBron the business or something like that, and LeBron's playing like shit. All right, well, we need LeBron's team to do well. And again, this is my conspiracy theory. I'm not saying that I know this, but it just seems like all of a sudden this guy fouled out in the first quarter of the game. And now, LeBron scores like, and I'm just using it as an example.
No,
but
I get it.
Scores like 50 points or something like that, has like an amazing game. They come back and win. Okay, now it's game 4. All right. Something else crazy happens. Someone just throws out of the game. There's a fight breaks out. And then it's like all these little events. And you're like, man, the entire rest of the year, the team was crushing other teams by like 40 points and 30 points.
And all of a sudden
now it's like 69 to 68, 71 to 70. Every game is just like nail biter. And I know it's entertainment because like I said, the NFL gets around a lot of the rules because they're entertainment.
Is that what they say?
Yeah. It's actually like the company's set up to be entertainment company. It's like the WWE is registered as like an entertainment company. It's not a sport. It's an entertainment.
Right.
So they can get around paying people a certain way and all that. But, how does it always end up? That's like when I thought like the prevent defense, like an NFL, like essentially give them the entire field to work all the way up, and then it's like it comes down to a field goal every time or something.
I mean, I get it, but it's like why? But still, you've been crushing them the whole game. Now let me just back up and
let the whole field, right?
And then they'll pull off some miracle in Nashville or whatever's happened before, and do the whole laterals. All of a sudden they score. Weird. Like, why do y'all do that? Why?
I love this conspiracy theories of that stuff. I will just like lose time on YouTube looking at, hey, was this game fixed? And they'll look at all the things, and they'll say, hey, look at this, or like there's a clip, and like you see some crazy shit. I know it's like impossible to do like in the real time of being like no one's perfect, so they can't like. You can't look at a situation and be like that one kid. For example, like remember the NFL got tons of crazy shit about the Seahawks Green Bay game, where like that was it a catch? Was it not a catch in the end zone?
No,
where they caught at the same time.
I don't know.
The fumble set, or was it?
Was it Super Bowl or something?
Touchception or something like that. Anyway.
Recently
the Seahawks. It was Seahawks. Was it Seahawks? Seahawks and Green Bay. They both go up at the same time. They catch the ball.
And like who had possession
at the same time? Yeah. And it's like, so you can't, like one guy, there's a photo of like the catch, and as soon as they hit the ground, one of the refs is going like, no, and
the other one's
like going like this. And it's like, the photo is like perfect because it's like one guy's doing this and the other guy's doing like the no catch.
Right.
But then you hear like the Tony Donahue or whatever the guy's name is, or Phil Donahue.
I don't remember his fucking name.
But yeah, fixing games and stuff like that. So if that guy's on the inside, and then all these people are, their job is to make the NBA or NFL or MLB successful. I mean, obviously they're cheating. Astros. I mean, that he's an asterisk. Cheating. So I mean, it's not like cheating doesn't exist. People cheat at anything.
Exactly. Yeah, you can cheat anything you want to.
But it's with the sports and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, what a crazy storyline this is. But yeah, they've won all the. Anyways, I love.
It's like they just make it like almost like a movie. Like,
yeah,
and they want it to be that way, and I get that, rooting for the underdog and stuff like that. But some of those umpires, they make pretty good money just for refereeing or umpiring the games or all season. Like almost six figures.
Well, I know that the NBA just recently started paying them more after the guy that was the guy we were just talking about. And I think the reason why was that they're saying they're on the court and these guys are making millions and millions and millions of dollars, and this guy's making like $200,000. That's still a good salary.
There's a lot of people who don't make that.
But I'm sure like they're saying like, yeah, this guy's getting paid $21 million. This guy's getting paid $50 million. LeBron's like, all this stuff. But then these guys are like, well, I want to make some more money on the side, and that's what
they find
the betting
a way to get it.
Yeah, so it'd be like if you paid those guys more. Wouldn't it make sense? Like they would be less inclined to cheat if they're getting a fat paycheck.
Well, yeah. I mean, I would, me looking on the outside in. I mean, six figures is a lot of cheese. But when you're actually like you're saying, if I was a referee and like I'm making $200,000 and they're making $21 million,
yeah, and
what the fuck me?
Yeah, and
so how about then plus like the mob or there's little bookies come at you and like hey hey, you help us out. We'll help you out.
I'm sure that's such a stressful job, anyways. You get crap and like no matter what you do.
When I was like doing a strength coach thing in Florida, and like I actually had to referee some of the games, like some of the practices and stuff. Bro, I hated every minute of it.
I think the hardest position would be like a Major League Baseball umpire.
Oh,
you
God.
get the most shit, or like not even Major League Baseball, like like I'm just thinking of like the Pulaski Yankees or like or was it Red Sox? Anyways.
No, it's Yankees now.
Yankees, and then what's the one?
Red Sox are in Salem.
The Salem Red Sox. It'd be like those where you just have drunks yelling at you the entire game. Like we went to a game where the guy was like, strike. Every pitch. The guy before he threw it, the guy was yelling strike. Anyways, but I can't imagine. Yeah, like what you're saying. Sorry. Like what you're saying. In Florida.
No, it's just
getting shit just
like no matter what I called, it could be the most obvious call. Somebody's pissed off at you. And I was like, what the fuck? You pushed him down or whatever. I mean, it's a foul. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Give me a break here, dude. Like some of them are really tough. Like you're trying to watch everything and you miss a lot, or I did.
And and you're not perfect. No one's perfect, so it's not. You like I said, you're always gonna have someone that's pissed off, and I think that's why everyone kind of likes to shit on like soccer, football.
Footy football.
Where they have one referee that runs the whole field?
In soccer?
Is it one? I can't remember if it's one.
Dude, you're asking the wrong guy. I don't watch any soccer.
If you could just send a message to our MySpace account or instant message.
So if anyone wants to email us and let us know the soccer rules.
I'm pretty sure that's why it's like when people take a dive and when they look at the replay, oh my gosh, the guy didn't even hit him in the face, and the guy grabs his face and he falls down or whatever. And like it's almost like a joke, right? Of like the soccer players grabbing their knee or ankle or something, like acting like it. But if it's one referee that is 50 yards away because the action happened over here, he's trying to make a judge. He doesn't know. Mm-hmm. But I don't know how it really works. But now
I don't either.
Well, with technology and stuff like that, they have the instant replay in sports now.
That's helped a ton of stuff.
And I feel like it's been like great. Like why not use that? Like why wouldn't you have an extra set of eyes that could? Oh, this guy did touch the base, or this guy caught the ball and it didn't hit the ground. And some of the some of the most memorable things in sports are like the tuck rule. Like remember like the Tom Brady, like the tuck rule, or like some rules. They had maybe this is not in the same vein, but like they have like a rule that's defined by a rule that defines the rest of how the game is played. So like,
so they make up a rule. Was it an incomplete pass
because he was tucking it back in or whatever? And the game was like with the Raiders or something.
So like he acted like he was gonna pass it, then he put it back in and take off running.
It, and it wasn't. So it was incomplete. It wasn't an incomplete pass or wasn't a fumble or something like that. Anyways, so now they changed those rules, or like it's called like the rules like the tuck rule or something like that. They have like a rule that now changes with technology, being like they remember. I can't remember what team it was. I think it was the Yankees. They had the camera system set up. Have you seen the movie The Matrix, right?
Yeah.
So you remember when they do the bullet time? They have that when the camera sweeps around when he's like bending over.
Yeah,
he's just like dodging all the bullets and stuff like that. And he's like bent over.
Man, Neo.
And Keanu, hell yeah. For that, they had the camera system that they used in The Matrix to get that shot, where it was like they had like 15 cameras set up, so they could just take a photo,
analyze everything
at every angle. So they could literally just pick up the mouse and drag it around to see. So like at home plate, right? So if there's a play at the plate, and the umpire can't see because like the play's happening right in front of him. Even though he's right there, the catcher's in front of him, and he can't see if the guy actually touched the bag or not. So I think in the Yankee Stadium is the first ballpark to do it, where they have every play at the plate is they take a video of it. So even if it's not super close, they can go back in the replay, and they can do just like that bullet time, like in Neo did, where he's like, they do that sweeping motion that looks around.
Check everything out.
So essentially they can look at any angle at any time in real time. So they can just pick and grab and just look at the plate and rotate it. So they're like, oh yeah, exactly. His foot touched the plate before that. So, technology is awesome in that case, because that guy's shit. Now the guy's safe. All right. It was a play at first base that's super controversial. It's the World Series or something like that. And if it's a shitty play and everyone at home is like, well, we watched it happen, it's bullshit. But on the field, they don't know. But, now we have something that's like able to define the rule or define, hey, this is bad or good or whatever. But so, I don't know. But the technology and stuff like that is great for that. But I still think it's fixed.
There's definitely some things.
But
it's got to be.
It's got to be.
Unless our conspiracy theory.
I know I'm an idiot. Granted, given.
Oh yeah, folks, we're just talking out of our ass. If you don't know, if you've listened to most of these episodes yet,
so I don't know what I'm talking about. But I just think that I know it's true. No, I'm just kidding.
It makes perfect sense to me, man. I mean, especially when the college football rankings come out and like who's gonna be in what bowl. Yeah. It's like, hey, we're gonna put these guys in this bowl because we know they're gonna be a big crowd down here, and plus it makes for good TV money.
Mm-hmm. Right. It's all about that dollar.
And it's just like, what? They lost some major opponent or one opponent or whatever. And it's like, how can you pick them over the other one? And it's just like, hey, money.
It's like when Notre Dame made a couple years ago. Was it a couple years ago? Was it? I can't remember off the top of my head the year. I'm an Alabama fan, obviously, but
Roll Tide.
SEC championship today, I think, too. Anyways, Florida.
Is that gonna be a beatdown?
I hope so. For the game, it was like Notre Dame or something like that, and then Notre Dame and Alabama, and like in that game, Notre Dame just got the brakes beat off of them in that game. And I know I'm biased for sure, but it was almost like a high school. It looked like it was like one team playing a high school team, and they're like they're the best, and then like you have a game where the score gets run up to like 40s or something like that, and it's like a shootout for both. Whereas it's boring if it's like 50 points and then 3 points or 6 points or 10 points. It's, I don't know. I don't think that's fun to watch. But how did that team get to that? They have a record, but maybe they only played shitty teams or like none. But everyone pads their schedule now, and if you have one loss, you're already out of contention. Whereas I think that's why so many people have been firing coaches. Like if you don't have an undefeated record, you're a failure. Like. It's like, you have a winning record.
Especially if you're in a tough conference like the SEC. I mean, come on, what do you expect? You can lose it any Saturday.
Yeah, and I can't even imagine being so stressed that any loss can now be like, they had one loss. Or it's a fluke. But if you lose 5 games in a year, they're probably looking for someone else to take the job.
It's like Fuente right now at Tech. Like I'm surprised he's still not gone.
Right, but it's one of those things. Like for like the Monday morning quarterback, the armchair quarterback, to be like, I would have done it like this. That play. But I can't imagine being in a position where every week you're like, well, if this doesn't go right, next they could be thinking about taking my job. So
I better start looking.
Yeah, and I don't know.
I wonder who's looking for a job or coaches right now.
So, but like you're saying, like the rankings and stuff, sometimes they just don't make sense. Like some teams will have like losses. Some team will be totally undefeated, but then they're ranked 21st. Yeah. And then the team above them has 2 losses or something like that. And again, speaking like with no knowledge of anything, but
Yeah, it comes in like, oh, this is everybody who they played, so they actually had a tougher season.
Right.
It's like,
yeah. But,
I don't know.
Alabama plays, like Western Carolina University or something like that. It's like a 63-3 game. I was like, okay, like,
oh, that was tough.
That's just like a waste of a
little tune-up game.
Yeah, and nothing against that school or anything, but it's like they're not in the same league.
It's not even
SEC.
close. It's like playing a high school team.
Yeah, exactly. And those schools though are gonna pay. That's like when Tech played Alabama. Like, you remember a couple years ago?
Like the start of the season or something? Yeah.
Like, it's more of like an exposition game. Or exposition? Exhibition?
Exhibition.
I know words. For that, they got paid. It's like when Boise State is trying to pay people to come play them. For a while, no one would play them because when they were really good.
Yeah.
And they would be like, oh, yeah, we're going to pay your school $100 million to XYZ. Or anyways, I don't know what the number is, but they pay them some ridiculous
Oh, it's a ridiculous number to come play us.
But nobody wants to do that because they don't want to lose, especially if it's the first game of the year. Or, like, if they don't want to lose because now my chances of getting into the NCAA is shot.
Yeah.
Like, the odds. It's when, this year with Clemson lost. They didn't have Trevor Lawrence because he had COVID.
Yeah.
But, like, they immediately dropped compared for their ranking. Granted, they had a loss, but that was one loss, and they're still a really good team. As an Alabama fan, Clemson is still a really good team, and now that they're dropped this crazy ranking because they didn't have their star quarterback and all that stuff. I don't know. Just like you're saying, it's all about who you know. It's all about
Oh man, well, some of those schools actually have to take those games. Like if you're a Western Carolina or a Radford University basketball, like
right, they have to play those big schools.
Yeah, they have to play those big schools and get paid like 50 G's or 100K or whatever it is just to keep the program going.
Yeah, that's a big deal for some small schools.
Yeah, like what is it? Unless you're like a top 25 team, your football team or whatever costs money to actually have. And then like usually if you are making money from like football or whatever, those schools or that program is actually what's paying for the other sports there at that university.
Oh yeah, for sure. The cross-country program is not a huge moneymaker, but the football program is raking in millions and millions of dollars hand over fist. But
let's go tailgate and watch cross-country today.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. But like I couldn't have had, like, and not to disparage any of those other sports, but, you're not going to have people watching.
And they know that.
Unless you're a basketball school like Duke. Like, Duke has a
UNC,
football team. But,
like, those blue blood schools or whatever they call them.
But, like, the Duke basketball is like Alabama football. Like they have other sports, but like the team, you think of the school, you think of what? Tech, you think of what? Football, right? You think of Duke or Maryland, you probably think basketball.
Yeah,
right?
like UNC Chapel Hill, basketball.
Or, you don't necessarily
Kansas,
think they're basketball, right? But their football team is
UCLA,
not going to be like amazing, or like they could be really good, but like in their conference, but like in the grand scheme of things, they're not comparative to like your Clemsons or your, undefeated teams. And, it's just, I guess it's how it is. But
I think I don't know if, those schools obviously pride themselves on that, but, like I think actually Chapel Hill made a good move and they just picked up Mac Brown from Texas and he's actually got Chapel Hill playing good football. But ultimately, I think they're always going to be a basketball school.
Yeah, it's going to be
It's like, hey, we're born and bred basketball school. Right. We had Dean Smith for years. We have Roy Williams. We had Michael Jordan, arguably the greatest player ever.
Yeah, and
this is
a
us.
Huge history of basketball.
This is our brand. Duke's same thing. They've always had he's arguably one of the
Coach
greatest.
K.
Yeah, Coach K, arguably the greatest coaches ever. Arguably had.
And everybody hates Duke basketball because
right
they're
now.
So good. Yeah. Well, in general, people, Christian Laettner and things like that.
Yeah. Well, everyone hates top people anyway. Yeah. Especially talking about Chapel Hill and Duke. They're rivals, right?
Yeah. Everyone hates those. I kind of like, and that's I don't know. I'm like the contrarian in that. I like those teams because people hate them or something. I don't know. Like. One of my best buddies growing up, his name is Eric. His family all went to Duke, and so when I really started getting into and when they, when I was getting into sports and basketball, I'd go over to his house and we watched basketball.
Sure.
And his parents were watching Duke, so I watched Duke games forever, just like before as I was getting into basketball. In my time, I was like, everyone liked the Bulls, obviously because it was the '90s, and everyone's like, oh, Michael Jordan, of course, easy.
Oh hell yeah.
And then as I'm getting into watching college basketball, it's Duke who I get to watch because everybody is a Duke fan that I'm with. None of my family went to Duke. They went to George Mason, but they're not watching Duke. So I typically see those games the most, so I like watching Duke just because I used to watch those games all the time. So I know
I
the
get
players.
it.
I know
Yeah,
the
you got
coach
some
and all that
memories
stuff.
from it.
But like, I'm not a super diehard like Cameron crazy, whatever they call him, right? But
Yeah,
you know,
you got to go there.
But when people were like, I fucking hate Duke or I shit on them and all that stuff, I always kind of smile a little bit. I'm like, I like them. I just do something I like them, and it's kind of like like the love to hate them or like hate to love them or kind of deal with the sport. I don't know. Maybe that's just my contrarian side of me. Like, oh yeah, I want the underdog to win every time, unless it's my school that I like. Right,
this is my team.
But yeah, it's other than that, there's things like I'm a Redskin. Sorry, Washington football team.
Foosball team.
I'm a Washington football team fan.
That's correct. So we didn't need any fact checking on that one.
Eventually, we'll get a name for the team, but so I'm well aware of what misery is like. Being a Redskins fan.
I know
so
I know it.
It like balances out. I like Duke basketball, and I'm never going to go to Duke University, but I do like watching their games if they're on, that kind of thing. I'll definitely watch it, but even though I didn't go there or anything like that, I still like the team and all that jazz.
For sure.
But yeah, man, stuff like that. I like with the sports and like the get my tinfoil hat on and stuff like that, and conspiracy stuff.
Man.
I just that's like an easy thing I can lose time on YouTube.
I mean,
it's a black hole,
dude.
for me.
You can lose that time not just in sports, but in almost any fucking
Right.
thing, like especially politics, right?
Yeah,
What?
That's a deep dark hole
Like
too.
like on Rogan the other day, they were talking about how the mob got JFK put into
Magic
office. Yeah, allegedly, like the Chicago mob or something.
I like history, so I like hearing that stuff too. Like
Yeah.
like all the stuff you don't hear about in textbooks and stuff like that. But
And then there was another one about Frank Sinatra and talking about how he had some stuff to do with it. And
like in the mob and stuff.
yeah, and that's actually how Frank got his
got to start.
got his start was because of the mob.
Like out in Vegas and stuff when like Vegas was getting started and all that
Yeah.
jazz. I like all that stuff.
Dude, that's just like what that's probably right. Like they're not controlling the company or the country or whatever. But like, I mean, if you think about it, I mean, when you're trying to come up in the ranks or whatever, and just kind of we've been saying, somebody's like, hey man, if you do this, we can get your back and help you. Obviously, hopefully they true to their word.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, I geek out on all
I
that
made
stuff.
him enough he couldn't refuse.
Yeah, he's doing so well so fast. It's crazy how all of a sudden he's selling all
We
these
just
shows.
got Frank. What?
I mean,
Okay.
Probably one of the best singers in like of all time, right? Frank's
Sinatra,
but,
definitely. Of that period.
But it's definitely I'm sure greasing hands to get you on stage, get you started is like the way to go for sure. But I mean, that's like Bert Kreischer was saying. He's maybe he probably really worked really hard, but he also knew the right people.
Yeah,
he was really lucky.
You got a lucky break somewhere, or knew the right person.
Right.
Hey man, we'll put you in instead of the other guy. Fuck him.
So you have to kill a guy every now and then. No big deal, but you're selling at shows.
You'll be a star in no time. Oh, okay. That's all I got to do.
Yeah, it's like that when we went to Vegas, like the for Christmas last year before, or something like that. I was like downloading videos like to watch in the flight or something like. Yeah, flight on the way there and back. I can't sleep on airplanes, so
I never have. I mean, I've only flown like 3 times in my life.
I think I've always been either right next to the engine, so you have that like constant noise like right next to you. You're like, oh, looks like I'm gonna sleep in inside the engine here, or like it's like the stereotype, or maybe not stereotype. I'm always next to a screaming kid on a plane. Every single flight, I've either been in front of me, beside me, like and the row in front, row behind, and the kid is always. And like I know that's like the cliche. That's what I was looking for. Not stereotype, cliche, but like it's literally every time. And I know there's a lot of kids out there because at one point I was a kid, so I know that's part of growing. So I know there's kids out there, but
weird, dude.
I always feel like I've always been like next to this, so I've never been able to sleep. Anyway, so I'm watching these documentaries on like Vegas and like or something like that. And like I'm going to Vegas. I like history and stuff like that, so I'll look at like a video about hey, who created XYZ, or who did this and all that kind of stuff, and then like hey, stuff like Frank Sinatra, in the mob comes up with Vegas, and so like that's a deep dark hole that I always like on YouTube and stuff. Like get lost on that shit. So.
Yeah, I like that type of stuff too, just because I kind of feel like not that I like kind of growing up, like I'm like 25% Italian or whatever, but like mom kind of has some stories about like her dad and like the mafia, and she's told me before, and like she wasn't allowed to talk about it and stuff.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
okay.
and so it's like, huh? But he died before I was born. Her father, so it was kind of like we had some ties to the mafia. Like, what's going on here? but yeah, it's always that stuff. It's always been like mafia movies and mob movies. Yeah. I love those shits. It's just like, especially like The Irishman. I don't know if you ever watched that, but like,
yeah.
Talking about the Jimmy Hoffa stuff and how they were helping him out, and it's just like, man, like who ruled the country back then? I mean,
it's crazy,
right?
Like
they were electing presidents and stuff. So I mean, I don't know how much of that is in today's times, but
yeah, it's like my
could be a lot.
My mom would always, I remember my mom told me stories like they're from New York, and her side, like her mom was from the Bronx and her dad was from Brooklyn, and like they would have they had stories of people trying to say, hey, like, you know, like you see in the movies, they're like, hey, protection and stuff like that. Or like there would be people I knew that like they were small business owners and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So like they'd be like, hey, you know, we can keep an eye out for you and all this protection and stuff like that. Like you see in the movies of like, hey, you know, protection money and all stuff with the mob. And you're like, oh, so that is based in reality, I guess, because my mom has stories of like growing up and, you know, people coming to ask. You know, I think they lived in like North Carolina at one point, and they had like somebody with like the KKK come and ask like my granddad or something like that to be a member, and he was like, "You can go fuck yourself" or something like that.
Fuck off.
But like, it's just stuff like that. I was like crazy. I'm like, damn, like you hear about that stuff in movies and see that kind of thing, but I was like, oh, like, apparently it's actually it happened. So I mean, anyways.
Yeah, wasn't did you ever watch that movie American Gangster with Denzel? Wasn't his family out of Greensboro?
Was it?
Or North Carolina, but then he moved to New York, but he still sent money back to them.
Oh yeah, okay. I'm trying to think of. Yeah, I think so. I think that sounds right. That sounds right.
You sound right.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, you know, that stuff. I always like that stuff. Cool. Like those movies are always like watching. I mean,
yeah, and it's like
underrated movies, maybe.
No, they're not. They're definitely like Goodfellas and Casino and what's the one with Johnny Depp in it? Don.
Oh, is that the one where he's Whitey Bulger? Is that what you're talking about?
It's a mob movie, but I thought it had like.
I don't know.
I forgot his fucking name or the name of it. God, I'm an idiot.
Damn it, Sarah!
The Godfather.
Come on, Sarah. Where's our facts?
Google her.
It's just two idiots not knowing anything.
Yeah, dude. Like all those movies are like, oh, I gotta watch them. And there's like, if you're a Frank Sinatra fan, there's a good documentary on Netflix right now, or it was on there. I watched.
Oh, really?
Probably like a couple months ago.
I've not heard of that.
Yeah. It was just low key, and I just randomly found it one night. And I was like, I gotta watch. Check out my boy Frank.
That's like when you go back to talk about like you're one of the wrong generation. Like I'm growing up, my mom listened to 90s country. So I listened to like a lot of like 90s country when I was growing up.
Yeah.
Just as at the time, and I'd be like, I cannot stand this music. But I'm in the house. And my
find yourself like listening to it or something.
Like my dad built speakers and stuff like that, and like my dad really likes like sound, like music and sound. He really likes music.
Yeah.
And so like anything sound, he will like just go all out on. Like we have like the surround sound that he built. He had these big ass speakers, and he's like, yeah, they weren't even that expensive to make. You could buy them. You probably could buy the same thing for a couple $1,000s that he made. Just he would get the parts and he'd make.
But
them.
I'm sure he would make them for a lot less.
Yeah, yeah. So like
he just got to put his time and effort into it.
And like he's super handy, so he'd make the cabinet, he'd make all this, and just he would buy the components and he'd put it all together and stuff. And then like we had this surround sound, and like have you seen The Italian Job?
Is that with Brad Pitt? Is he in it?
Marky Mark, right?
Marky Mark, and he got the little car. The
little minis.
Yeah, I've seen him.
There's a scene in that movie where he's like, this guy's like the guy he's the original Napster. Do you remember the scene? And he's like, I want a sound system that will blow women's clothes off.
Oh.
And I saw that movie. I'm like, that's my dad's not trying to blow women's clothes off, but my dad would be like, have this like sound system that you crank this thing up. I feel like your hair would slick back. Like, it was great. Anyways, so mom would crank all this music. And it'd be like 90s country, and then like my dad would listen to like Pink Floyd and like like that. So I listen to like a lot of older music compared to like my generation that's not listening to like that. Whereas like I would like a lot of those, which is now like classic rock and stuff like that. I listened to that like so much as a kid. So like if someone was like, "Oh, have you heard this song before?" I'm like, yeah, I've heard the song. Like my parents listen to all this, but like when my grandparents loved Frank. They were obviously from New York, so like the New York, and all that stuff. Like, so I really listen to a lot of that music, and that's really like that old generation's like stuff. Like, that's not. I don't. you hear a lot of folks listening to like Frank Sinatra, just listening to it. That's
especially
from that
times.
area, from that time. So, I really like that stuff. So I'll have to check
him and the Rat Pack and stuff.
Yeah, like I like that music, but
I've always liked that. I've been
like in high school, I'd like listening to that stuff rather than I wouldn't listen to a lot of pop, but I listen to a lot of stuff like that. I mean,
like if I'm by myself and just kind of chilling or around the house, I always put like Frank.
And it's
on
like
or
really
something.
good music too.
Yeah, it's like it's good stuff, and like like I said, like around like if I'm going out and stuff, I wouldn't just like, hey y'all, you want to listen
to Frank?
Yeah, let's get hyped up for this workout, bruh. But no, like especially if like late in the evenings or whatever.
Right.
If I'm by myself or whatever, I'll just put in my AirPods and just it's good to chill music, man. But it's also like makes you think they're like during that time, like how bad it like wrong generation again. Like everywhere you go out, you dress up in a suit and tie, and you're smoking, and you're just eating and just dancing. It's just like
it's like that romantic, romantic mindset of dressing up and doing that kind of thing, and going out and doing something special.
Yeah, nobody cared about like smoking's gonna be killing me. Fuck it, who cares? Just give me like everyone smoked back then.
My grandmother smoked like since she was like 13. She was like 87 if she passed. So it was like smoked forever.
Give me a pack.
Yeah.
Give me one of them packs,
But
James.
they also lived a lot harder than we had.
Oh, dude, it was weird times back then.
They had a harder time than I fucking for sure had. So. Oh shit.
Oh
no, sorry, that's all right.
Nah, that's fine.
But yeah, so I'll have to check. What's the you said Frank,
if you just type in like Frank Sinatra, it was when I watched it. Okay. This was like last month, so I would think they change every month, obviously, but I think it was like a 2-part series. So
I know they're taking off things like they take off things all the time, and they used to be like I can't remember what it was. If it's not an app, someone's probably already thought of it of like the things that they are putting on and taking off. Like it's like a rumor of like, oh my gosh, they're gonna take off. Then for a while they were gonna take off like The Office.
Well, that's actually coming off now. Well, yeah, that was actually they were talking about like last year or something, right?
Yeah, and I remember them just being like, "Oh, they're going to take this off." So all of a sudden, people were just hammering. Oh shit!
Oh yeah, we got to watch it again.
Office, yeah, and then which is a great show, but like they were just hammering episodes because like I'm going to watch it again before they take it off. Before now that everyone has their own streaming service. What's NBC, right? So it's on theirs.
Yeah, the old Peacock.
Peacock, that's what it is.
You can't let me fly, Captain.
That is a fucking great underrated.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
I am just burn brain right now. I have no idea what I'm talking about, but that is probably one of my favorite movies.
I love
all time. The other guys.
Aim for the bushes.
Aim for the bushes, man.
Just right in the beginning. You're like, what type of movie am I watching?
Dude, that is one movie I could literally sit down and watch at any time, pick it up and enjoy the entire. Just like
so many great quotes from it too, and dude.
Has you had the water? The water is so good.
It's got like a cucumber in it. It's just like
it's just something about it.
It's like, how was Jersey Boys? Was it great? It was phenomenal. It wasn't great. It was phenomenal.
They're like at the middle of the game in like the Knicks game or something like that. Oh shit! Was this a bribe?
This
is a bribe. It got us again.
And the girl's hitting on Will Ferrell. She's like, "Call me," and he's.
That was a good one too.
That is a great movie.
But yeah, I don't even can't remember what we were talking about after that. But
I think we're back on talking about documentaries.
Like the offices of taking it off.
Yeah,
so
there we go.
They're gonna have some things on Netflix and then they take them off. So like I feel like every time I look on Netflix, there's nothing to watch. There's so many fucking choices of everything, but I was like nothing I really want to watch.
There's so much stuff to watch now. I can't even keep up anymore.
It's almost like it's
killing me.
Yeah, it's almost like too many options.
Yeah, it's like I start a show, then it's like, hey, did you watch this show? And I was like, oh, let me start on this show now. And then it's like, didn't even make it through half of the last one.
I can't even remember. I think there's like it's probably like a psychological. Wow. Let me start over. There's probably like an actual legitimate term or like thing for this where like if you give people someone so many options, like they're less likely to choose anything or like
they just can't choose just because they're overwhelmed.
Process everything. Whereas if you're trying to get someone to look at this or like this, give them 3 choices and make the 2 other choices really shitty. Or like make one choice really appealing.
Yeah.
Rather than being like, if I gave someone 75 movies to watch and you're like, I'm looking at all of them.
It's like, fuck.
Man, have you ever had that where you're like, man, I look on Netflix and there's movies.
Yeah, like I'll go through the list or the new stuff. Like, I've already seen this, seen this.
And
Like,
And you're like, I don't really want to watch that.
Fine. I spent 20 minutes looking for something. Now I don't know what to do.
And I don't even want to watch TV.
Yeah.
So,
I'm just going to go do something else.
Right.
I'm going to play this video game.
I don't know. But for whatever reason, like this, like the Office when it's coming off, people like binged.
They
like
fucking
the
lose their
like
shit over it too.
And then like they finally took it off and everyone's like, shit. And then like they go to their other service or whatever. But like, the amount of things on Netflix. So it's like if someone says, "Oh yeah, it's on Netflix," it's probably on 3 of the other services by now.
That's where I start looking too. Like I usually like go on like IGN posts some pretty good stuff. I guess most of The Verge and like a lot of people do like what's new to Netflix this month, what's new and what's coming. They actually tell you what's going on and coming off, and I kind of review that. And it's like, okay, let me dial that in. But then halfway through the month, I already forgot everything I just read. But unless it's just like a new movie, like Wonder Woman coming out next week or whatever.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting with COVID and stuff being bigger than well, not bigger, but I don't even know what I was going to say. I was going to say I think far-reaching than a lot of people think of things like going to the movies and stuff you can't do anymore. Mm-hmm. So I really like going to the movies. I
do too.
We talked about it I think before a little bit.
Yeah, I think we talked about it last time.
But now that all those movies that are coming out and being blockbusters, like I know a lot of times during the holidays or Christmas and Thanksgiving, people actually like to go see. I think Christmas Day is like one of the highest days to go see movies.
Like Thanksgiving too?
Yeah,
like,
people because everyone's together.
It's like a tradition. Like for some families, they actually go out and watch movies and stuff. Yeah,
my family used to do it all the time where we'd go to see
I like
Star Wars a lot, and like when they do a lot of Star Wars movies or. I just remember that just like they would always come out on Christmas Day or something like movies.
Yeah, they always do like a big blockbuster on those days. And I get that.
We always used to do that and be like, all right, well, we're gonna go right after
like we have dinner or something.
Yeah, or like we do breakfast and then we go see a movie and then like we go travel. Like my family was really close together from while I was growing up, so like we could drive to the other side of town and go see both sets because both sets of grandparents lived there. So anyways, so we were like, oh, we're gonna go see a movie in the middle of the day, and then we'll go do whatever we need to do in the evening. So we always used to do that. Like, go see movies on Christmas Day, which seems like the movie should be closed, right? Everything else is closed.
Yeah.
The movie theaters
Sheets is open.
Every time we were there, it was always like smashed and totally packed. So, anyways. But, yeah, now that we don't have that, and like, this movie's coming out like Wonder Woman, now it's all streaming.
Yeah.
So, like, with, oh, shit. What's the name of the movie? Mulan with Disney Plus, like that place. I know that's a hot button issue for a lot of folks, but
I never
watched the live action Mulan. But they did that. It was like $25 to go to download it from the service.
Yeah, and
like you pay for the service and then you have to download it again, or you have to pay. You pay for the service and then you pay for the
movie.
Yeah,
yeah, it's like a monthly fee, then pay for the movie on top of that. But still, what is that like? Say $12 a month for the subscription plus $25. I mean, if you go to a theater. Like just buying, like so 4 people go, that's $40 probably right there, $10 a ticket.
Spending like $60 in snacks.
Then plus snacks, and then it's like fuck.
We frequently sneak things into the movie theaters, like
put them in purses and stuff. Yeah, dude.
McDoubles, things like just whatever thing, cheeseburgers. and stuff like
put
that.
this in your purse. I'll need this later. I'll just buy the drink. They will never know.
And when I was growing up, there was a movie theater. My buddy Zach and I would go, and we'd go. There was a McDonald's literally like right across the street, and we would take hoodies in or like big puff jackets or something like that.
Yeah.
And we would shove cheeseburgers and stuff like that into our pockets or like whatever we wanted, kind of thing to sneak in. And it'd be like, oh, it's like 70 degrees outside and these guys are wearing jackets. Or like, these guys
what are these fucking guys doing?
They're like, oh, we're smarter than them. They're not going to know that. And we'd always there's this one security guard that always would give us like the shittiest, like, I know what you sons of bitches are doing, but
whatever. He's like, I've been there. I'm there. I get you.
So, like, we would be, like, unwrapping McDoubles and stuff like that in the movie theater or watching, and we're like, I don't think they had that at the front desk there. I see popcorn. I didn't see cheeseburgers up there. But, I know there's a couple places now that are, like, you can get beer and stuff while you actually go to movies. Oh, this before.
Oh, yeah. I've been to a couple places like that in Charlotte. And I love you can drink a couple beers while you watch a movie.
Before the dark times. Before the turtle flu.
Oh,
before
man. That turtle flu is just getting around.
I've been to movie theaters that have had that, but I've never done that. I've never gone like I want to go get a good beer and then go to the movie.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I'm always like popcorn, beer. I don't know why they didn't. I don't know.
Yeah, no, like what Christiansburg's doing it now, but I don't think the beers are actually they have any What good beers, right? Or is it just wine?
It's like,
is this wine?
I think it's that. I've seen like wine and stuff like that, but they have
Sort of fun, like
all the way from wherever it's brewed, Bud Light. And have these nice all ones,
Bud Lighters,
some nice ones.
That's a nice folks.
Coors, from straight from the Rockies, right out of the spring.
Yeah, it's right out of the river.
But anyway, some quality ones.
But anyway, James, hate to cut this short.
Oh shoot, yeah. As another one of those time warps where we just don't know what time it is. Holy sin! All right, yeah.
No, I just looked at the time. I was like, I got to get through about it. Yeah, like I start to lose time to get into some conversations, and then this was a good episode. This was fun.
That's right. You got to go do some Christmas shopping.
Yeah, I'm gonna run down and try to buy a couple things real quick in the old North Kakalaki, baby.
Oh Lord,
rise up, Diddy Pop. But this was fun.
Well, yeah, man. Thanks for having me on it. Thanks for having me over again.
Dude, yeah.
I'm glad we got to enjoy a couple beers.
I hope people are not getting tired of us, too. But yeah, thanks for the beers. Thanks for your time. Thanks for your company. And,
of course.
I don't know if we'll get... Well, this will be out hopefully during Christmas week. But yeah, so... I don't know if there'll be another one. But I mean, hey, y'all listening.
Well, there'll be another one for sure sometime.
Yeah, there'll be another one after that. But, so yeah, we'll get together. And big things coming up this Christmas and New Year's. And hope everyone keeps listening. So... I guess that's it.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me over.
Hey, man. All right. Goodbye, folks.
Bye.